once again, good evening. So we won't be taking so much time. We're going straight to the point. So the first question, is you need to ask yourself, why am I in this class? Why am I not somewhere else right now? Why am I not enjoying myself? Why am I in this class? And I think that when you have that answer, you would understand that you're actually here, to learn a few things. And the question is, how would what you would learn tonight help you in your life, basically? So this class is basically around mastering how to sell real estate. It's as simple as that. How do I sell real estate? How do I make money from real estate? That's what this class is all about. And we're going to be going through a few fundamentals around psychology and also around sales. Just a quick testimony. And I think that maybe the next class we're going to be holding, we're going to include that in the class. And I know that this is quad 3. So this is the third time we're taking this class. And I know that as at yesterday, we've had not less than 5 different people, from cohort 1 that have actually sold real estate, basically, and some of them have sold for us. And it's interesting. I think one of the things that I was very excited about, I think was 2 days ago when I was paying out the commission, was that somebody was earning commission of almost £1 million. I think it was probably a few thousand short of £1 million. And this person came to cohort 1 about 2-3 weeks ago. Tolu, let's see if we can get testimonial from this person. If this person is really interested in giving us, so people understand that it's real. So people came to the class, picked up something, and went away. And I can tell you that it has really been interesting seeing people actually that have never sold anything in real estate before, or have been selling and have been struggling, actually finally sell something. So I just wanted to let you guys know. So if you can't see my screen, you might want to rejoin, go out and come back in, basically. And one of the things we're trying to do is that we've had several very large classes, and one of the things we want to do now is we want to make these classes a lot more intimate so that people can ask questions and also are not distracted by a lot of noise. So welcome once again to Mastering the Art of Selling Real Estate. And I'm going to be moving on now. Okay, so what I start with most of the times is that I tell people there is something you cannot forget. There's something you cannot, not that you cannot forget. Okay, you cannot afford to forget, actually. And that is basically this simple quote: if we are all going to eat, someone has to sell. If this is ingrained in you, that if you have to eat, if your family have to eat, if your siblings have to eat, if you're, you have to sell, or somebody has to sell. And if you go and check, if you ate this morning, somebody sold something for you to be able to afford what you are eating, right? It's either somebody sold their skill, or they sold their time, or they sold their attention, they had to sell, basically. So I like to take a pause here in the class, and I like to tell people to say, you know what, write this down. Let this form your motivation every morning when you wake up. Get a small what they call that thing, is it a note or a sticky note? Paste it by your bed, or if you use your laptop, have a digital sticky note. See this. So, and the question you need to ask yourself is, what am I selling today? Who am I selling to? That's one thing. And as we go on in the class, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. I hope that I have time to answer questions today. Now, another thing also is that I try to debunk a few things also, is that most people were told that selling is actually convincing people. That's what most people were told. You have to convince your buyers so they can buy from you. However, that's not true. And that's why a lot of people are struggling. Now, the truth is, if you have to convince people, you would struggle. Can you get some sales? Oh, you might, but will they be consistent? It's going to be very difficult, right? And will it be seamless? No. And that's why people say that the greatest of marketing, are marketing that you don't even know that you are being marketed to. Just realize that I'm hungry and I want to eat Indomie, and for some of us that grew up in, when you were doing those adverts and you say Indomie, those kind of thing, and you just realize that if it has come into your subconscious, like they just marketed you without you knowing. You allowed them to come into your subconscious without you knowing. That is actually the best way to sell, you know. And I'm going to go into that now. And I also understand that there are real fears. A number of people who want to actually sell. Nobody wants to be poor, you know. Nobody wants to live life and not have money. Nobody wants to live life and not be able to provide for themselves, And funny enough, since I understood this secret sincerely, I told myself, and it's not trying to be proud. I told myself that I can never be poor again. It's almost impossible, because the truth is, the only skill you need, I mean, the only skill you need, you can have several skills, but the only skill you need, and if you don't have this skill, it will be very difficult to survive in life. The only skill you need to escape poverty, or not just to escape poverty, to increase what you have, your money and whatever. And I'm going to give an example, is that you need to know how to sell. Now, if there are now fears and things that are preventing you from selling, you know that these things have to be dealt with and debunked. Now, people will say, oh, yes, I need to sell to be able to escape poverty. But if I have money, why do I sell? And I'm asking you, Elon Musk is selling, he's the owner of Twitter. He's the richest man in the world. And you will see that man posting almost every day on Twitter, hawking his Starlink product, hawking, SpaceX on his head, hawking Tesla. And you're wondering what, and one of the things they've also now learned to do is they've learned to now diversify sales. But whether you like it or not, they are selling. So now what are the real fears? People are afraid and are scared that, if I try to sell to somebody, they are going to reject me. Wow, interesting. But that's good. I understand rejection anxiety. It's okay. But one thing you need to say no is that rejection is fine. But we're going to go there. And people will say, okay, yes, okay, now I'm over rejection. I don't mind hearing no 50 times. And let me tell you the truth. Even if you are selling for 5-10 years, when you hear those no's, it's still going to hurt you, especially when you spend so much time, building that sale. But one thing you'll be able to build is you'll be able to build character, you'll be able to build skill, and you'll be able to build competence, that when the no comes, it just lands somewhere else and does not distort, your person. Now, people ask questions. Where do I find the right leads? How do I find the right leads? And that question is very valid. See, there are organizations today, and so let's even go to international organizations. We have international organizations like Clay, like Apollo, like Rocket Reach, like all of these guys, and their entire business is helping you find the right lead. And a number of those businesses are worth billions of dollars. Like Clay started a few years ago and is making a revenue of over $100 million. That is an easy $500 million to $1 billion organization. So those fears are valid, So finding the right leads, and we're going to talk about those things now. People are also asking them, like, how would I, speak to someone that I don't know, like talking to person, cold, like just, cold outreach, and the truth is, it is true. But one thing you need to understand is that billions of dollars are being closed every day on cold outreaches. So because you are scared of cold outreach does not mean that it is a bad thing, to do. And we're going to walk through how to overcome some of those things. Now, people also say, you know what, I don't have capital for marketing. And it is valid, extremely valid. But if you allow that to limit you, you probably would not start, and you would not start, and you will not make money, and you would not eat, and you will go around in that circle. And we're going to touch on very few things you could do to mitigate things like I don't have capital, and all of those things. Now, what is another fear, people have? People say, I don't have the right words. I don't know what to say. Yes, I've overcome everything now, but what do I say? When I open my mouth, what do I say? And I can tell you, even before this class, I've done this class several times. I have the slides. I know what to say, but I was still, oh my God, what do I say? I hope these people learn something today, So it is normal, but you need to practice how to overcome it, And one simple trick, my dad taught me while I was young is when you're talking to people, assume that you're talking to children, not in a diminishing way, but to boost your confidence. You cannot see two children and you are scared of talking to two children as an adult. It's almost impossible. Do you get my point? Like you even like two children want to cross the road, and you'll be the one to go and even meet them and say, "Oh, how can I help you cross the road?" Or, "Oh, don't go, don't cross. Let me help you." But it's an adult that wants to cross the road. It's not your business. So that's how it looks like. So you see that you're trying to help them. Now, which now goes to my last slide. I really love that analogy. Now, which now goes to my next slide. Now, what exactly is selling? Selling has been told to be convincing, but actually selling is serving. Like selling is serving. So what am I trying to say is the fact that now you see those two children, trying to cross the road. As an adult that is responsible, to be sincere, if you see them trying to cross the road and cars are going up and down, nobody would tell you. You will be the one to volunteer yourself and say, "Let me help you guys. Don't make that mistake," because you saw them as children. Now, we need to understand that what you just did for them was that you served them. And actually, that's all selling is all about. Now, I told you to write, a quote down. If we're all going to eat, someone has to sell. Now, this is the second quote I want you to write down, basically. Like, this is the second quote I want you to write down. If you have not written it down, I want you to type it in the chat box. I want to see about 2 or 3 responses before we continue. I'm going to take a pause. Selling is serving. Selling is serving. I want to see 2 or 3. Let me know that people are hearing me or I've seen 1, I've seen 2. Okay. Thank you so much. So we can move on. Thank you so much. Now, the truth is, when you believe this, everything changes. Like, you might not have seen it, but fundamentally, everything changes in your life. Like, literally, every single thing changes your life. So you begin to look for opportunities to serve people. You don't see serving people as wasting of your time anymore. And because you are actually serving, you are actually selling. Now, we're going to get there. Now, but before we go ahead, I know that a number of you would be like, "Oh, why is this guy, teaching us and was trying to communicate with us, and we don't even know who he is?" So I'm just going to introduce myself, briefly, then we can continue. So for those who don't know me, my name is Emmanuel Efosazua, and I'm the co-founder of WyseFlex. I also have my co-founder. It's probably on the call or probably, with a client, whatever. And I've been privileged to, drive over 4.2 billion in revenue across, 11 industries. And let me just give you an example. Like, when I look at our total revenue for last year, we've been able to do almost 50% of the total revenue for last year, or if not more than 50% of that revenue in the first 3-4 months of the year. So you can see that's driving revenue. Now, I am privileged to have trained over 6,000 people when it has on the subject of sales, on the subject of strategy, and on the subject of product, development and management. I've also been privileged to have my first degree in computer science, my second degree in computer science and bioinformatics, and my third degree in computer science, which is my PhD in artificial intelligence. And also I've been privileged to, complete my MBA in entrepreneurship and innovation, because something I'm passionate about. And I've also been, opportune to be part of one of the best, accelerator in the world, which is Y Combinator. And I've also been privileged to lead, a team of over 100 people, across, Nigeria, and Canada, basically where I'm based. So this is who I am, and I hope that you pay attention and listen to me. And I look forward to seeing a number of people, sell, and also up their game when it comes to their income, or diversify, when it comes to their income. Thank you so much for those that are clapping. I don't take it for granted, and I really appreciate you. Going forward, we're going to be looking at why selling works. Why would selling actually work, right? Why? Now, you need to understand that your job as a salesperson, see, I am a proud salesperson. I love being a salesperson. It's an interesting job. You need to understand that your job as a salesperson is not to convince people. Your job is to help them see clearly. Now, the truth is, when you actually sell well, when you do your job, your customers will come back to thank you. And I'm going to give an example. If you have ever, if you've ever received a service or a product, and when you were done being served, if it was a service, or if you were done using the product, or when you received the product, you left a bad review, just try and indicate in the chat if you left a bad review, in just, you can just an emoji or whatever, because you probably did not like the product that was sold to you, or you didn't like the service, right? And if you receive the product, or not just receive a product, or you see the service and you left a good review, you can also indicate in the chat, or care about. Now, what happens there is that reviews are a form of feedback. Your customers are either telling you thank you through your reviews, or they are cursing you. Now, when they tell you thank you, it simply means that they are going to come back. If they don't tell you thank you, they're not coming back, basically. Now, but the beauty about when they tell you thank you is that they are not just only going to come back, they are going to tell people about your service. When people love things. So I know when Starlink came into Nigeria, right? That was a time we're struggling with internet. I know that I spoke to almost 5 or 10 people about Starlink. Guy, you need to get that Starlink. That internet is fast. Who sent me? Nobody did. But Elon Musk was charging me, was taking a lot of money from me, and I was excited, to tell people. And I was even telling him thank you. Why? What did he do? He helped me. Like, it's not like I did not know that I needed a better internet service. I knew, because all of the internet service were terrible, right? So nobody needs to convince me, that I need a better internet service. I just need someone that's going to serve me properly. Now, why am I staying on this is that a number of people, and I'm going to go back to my analogy. A number of people don't know that their job is actually to help people see clearly. Now, a number of buyers, whether you like it or not, have so many options, but what they want to know is, if I spend my hard-earned money on this particular option, would I get what I am actually looking for? That is where you come in, to let them know and to reassure them that I am the right person to serve you. If you give me your, sorry, this is sounding like, if you give me your heart, forget it, and like for people now that gave their heart to Nine Mobile in Nigeria, to say that's my network. Now we know where their heart is now. Their heart is probably broken, but people that gave their heart to, in quotes, MTN, their heart is still being managed, right? So is it that I don't know that the networks are bad? You do. So what am I trying to say is that your job is to know, okay, this is the problem I'm trying to help people solve. These are all the solutions, that exist for this problem. This is the solution I'm presenting. So right now, I need to help people understand that this solution I'm presenting is the best solution for them, and no other. That's basically your job. Now, I want to also push out some fears right now. When people will say that you need money to make money in real estate. Honestly, don't forget about this. All you need is a conversation. And money in real estate comes from connections. That's the truth. Like, a conversation and your connections. That's all you need. You don't really need money. You actually don't need money. Now, money can amplify what you're doing, but money is not needed to start what you need to do, basically. Now, another thing also is that, it takes years. You cannot earn from real estate. You need to learn a lot. You need to know a lot of things. But that is actually not true. That in itself is an opposite of what is true. What you need is a single referral from a conversation. Basically, all you need is to close a single referral, and all you need is to get a commission. And this can happen in weeks. And I'm looking forward to getting the testimonial of 5 of the people that were in our cohort 1, which happened, I think, less than a month ago, right? And they've sold, right? And some of them have never sold before. Some have actually tried selling before, but some are just pure new people that, oh, I can sell real estate. Oh, give me the flyer. You know what? I'm putting on my status. And they put on their status. Somebody reached out to them. They didn't even know what to say. They reached out to us. We helped them with their prospects, and now they're smiling to the bank. So you need to understand that now. And because this is real estate now, like I said, real estate income is not about credentials, it's about connections. Now, but we've said all of this English. The question now is, okay, I have the connection, I even have the credentials, I have whatever it takes you've mentioned. I know I'm going to serve, I know I'm going to do all these things, but I'm still not selling. Where am I getting it wrong? So the question now is, are you getting it right when it has to do with the psychology of sales? Because whether it's real estate you're selling, whether it's car, whether it's toothpaste, whether it's anything you're selling, whether it's your skill, there is a psychology of selling. And we're going to be going into that right now. Now, you need to understand that when you open your mouth or when an ad runs, what happens is, oh, thank you for that example. Now, what happens is that it goes through your brain to see if this is relevant to me. Now, let me give an example. Most of us have watched YouTube before, right? We've been on YouTube and we see an ad, and the ad says you cannot skip until 5 seconds. Now, it takes 5 seconds to decide. In that 5 seconds, when you see the ad, you know it's not for you. You are just waiting for that 5 seconds to reach and you just do skip. But have you ever experienced some ad that you don't want to watch the ad, but the first 5 seconds was just very interesting? You're like, okay, let me see where this is going to, right? Now, if you have ever experienced that in the class, so it doesn't look like it's me, please indicate or put it in the chat or draw an emoji, basically, because I want to use that to explain. Now, what am I trying to say is that whenever you are trying to sell, thank you so much that I'm not alone. Now, whenever you are trying to sell, you need to understand that you only have 5 seconds. From when you open your mouth, you only have 5 seconds to lose that sale or win that sale. That's the truth. Only 5 seconds. Only 5 seconds. Sometimes even lesser. And I'm going to give you an example why sometimes it's lesser. Some of you have received messages, right, on your WhatsApp, and you just saw the headline of that message. Headline of that message in 2 seconds. Brother, how are you? You already know that what is coming after brother, how are you, is billing. So you don't open that message. Thank you so much. Thank God I've escaped. Like your brain has clocked it. Yeah. That's why they asked me for money when I opened it and they saw my red message and you escaped. Now, some of you also, you have picked calls, that maybe from OPay or what of this one, these guys that are scamming. And as you hear, hello, my name is Bound, you just got it. Like it don't even up to 5 seconds because you know that is irrelevant to you, right? Some of you, right, that are nice, have also picked those calls. And yet, hello, my name is, and you just tuned out. You don't want to look bad, or you don't want to feel disrespectful. So what you do is that you listen to the call, but you're not listening, you're just present, right? But if they ask you after spending like 5 minutes on the call, that what they talk about, you say, I do not know. Now, this is what's happening here. Every brain runs a survival check before it listens. So the question is, the brain is asking, is this safe or is it a threat? Is this relevant? Does it matter to me? Or is it going to waste my time? Is this interesting? Is it worth my time? And if any of these gates or this, if any of this, is not right, your mind shuts down. So if your mind thinks this is not safe, this is scam, they won't just listen to you. Or they feel like, oh, this person is selling a 1 billion naira house. I don't even have 1,000 in my account. It's not for me. And they just turn out. If you are boring, and you're not saying something that is pleasing or relevant to what they're like interesting to them, what they're asking themselves is that, is this worth my 90 seconds? Is this worth my 50 seconds? Is this what? And if it's not interesting enough, they're out. So you need to understand that when you open your mouth, the first 5 seconds count. So what are you going to say? what would you say, that would make people relax? And I think there's an example here that I have. I don't know. And number one is, if you're trying to sell real estate, you're saying, good morning, I have an amazing opportunity for you. We have affordable plots of land in Ogun State with great ROI. Are you interested? That can shut somebody's gate immediately, right? But when you start with, oh, hello, Adam Yusuf, I saw your post about wanting to build something for your kids. That's the first 5 seconds. Okay, you're asking yourself, which of my posts my kids interesting? Okay. And a friend just bought a plot of land at View in E4, and it made me think of you. Do you want me to share what I found? Now you see what you did. Okay, now let me tell you a trick. You see, so even though you've passed the first 5 seconds, you now have another 10 seconds. You pass the next 10 seconds, you have another 20 seconds. So you must be making sense consistently, because the gate is always checking. It's always checking. It's not like you pass the first second and just start saying rubbish. No, but you can see how this conversation went, and it was more about Tunde, or more about Adam, or more about Osai. Like, it was more about the person than what you wanted to sell. And look at what you're doing. You are taking permission, basically. So one thing you need to understand is that it must be safe, it must be relevant, it must be interesting. Now, another thing also you need to understand is that emotions buy, logic justifies. Now, a lot of us are trying to sell and are trying to appeal to people's logic. Now, and I'm not trying to shade the program. What is logical about BB Niger? We're watching people's lives, like we're just there watching them. Oh, but it's not. But if they are teaching you mathematics or something, you're not watching it. You understand me? But why? Because you are interested. Your emotions is connected to it. And you see, they try to do things that you are interested in, that you love. Now, and you see some of us, we tell ourselves that, oh my God, you know what? I want to fast today. And I'm using that example. I want to fast. It's just logical that I fast. I need to reduce my weight. I need to reduce my weight. And you start fasting around 8, maybe 12 a.m. When it's 7 a.m., you just check and say, what's the time? It's 7 a.m. You're just waking up, or you woke up maybe 30 minutes ago. You're like, hi, what? You check the time, it's 9 a.m. and you're like, will I still fast this fast? What's drawing you? You can see that logically, you want to fast. You know that you're supposed to fast. You know that your weight is going up. You know you need to reduce your weight. But your emotions, your mind is contradicting. And I can tell you that most of the times, you will not bow to logic. You will bow to your mind and your emotions. You will eat that food. You will eat that bar. Then you will not tell yourself that, I'm sorry, I will do it again tomorrow. I'll do it again tomorrow. Do you understand my point? So, and you will now begin to use your brain to justify that, I'm not that fat. I can, you know what I'm going to do. So you justify a lot of things. And let me give another example. A number of us probably don't have enough money with us. And I'm going to use food, and you are hungry, but you don't have enough money with you, right? And you pass through an eatery and the food is smelling nice. Your brain is telling you don't have money. You're going to trek by the end of the month if you spend this money. But your emotions are scattered everywhere. There's hunger, there's everything. The aroma is nice. You just see, you find yourself, and you cannot even explain sometimes. You find yourself in the canteen already eating, or in the restaurant already eating. And it's when you are done eating that your brain comes back and like, what just happened here? How did I get into this place? That's how to tell you how emotions, how powerful they are. So if you are trying to sell and you are selling to the logic and not the emotions, you might actually be selling wrongly. So what happens is, emotion is what generates the wants. Why would people want to buy real estate? Is it because they just want to? Now, I can tell you that one of the best real estate I've sold, in my life, is that this person did not want to buy real estate, but the person had money. Now, this real estate was selling for, I think it was selling for 10 million. No, was selling for 15 million naira, right? And they crashed the price to, I think, about 6.5 million. Now, I went to this person and said, there's real estate for 6.5 million. You're going to make your money back. They just crashed the price, blah, blah. The person did not listen to me. And, I think 1 month down the line, the person saw that the price was around 18 million. The person came back and was begging me, that he wants to buy the. So why? Because he saw that the the plot was increasing. Now that plot is about 50 million. Now, logically, it does not have anything to do with real estate. But I don't call it greed, the opportunity mindset in him is like, oh my God, if I buy this plot of land now, I could actually make money. And funny enough, he bought and I think he sold for about 45 million or something. Now, so you need to understand where is their emotion. Some people's emotion is because they want to double their money or they want to triple their money in real estate. Some people's emotion is that they want to put it for long-term investments. Some people's emotions are in, I want to create a lasting legacy for my children. You know what I mean? I want to create an inheritance for my children. You need to know that and then sell to that emotion. Then when you are done selling to that emotion and example, you then justify with logic to say, oh, and even though you want to buy this property for your children, you want to buy this property and keep for inheritance, or you're going to get a deed of assignment, or it's a dry land, or it's close to a university, or is this. Now you can bring all of those things, but all of those things just support what the person wants. That's the truth. Now, let's go into, now you need to also understand that one of the reasons why people fail to sell is that people don't trust them. That's the truth. And it might not even just be them. People don't trust their product, or they don't trust them, or they don't trust the company they're selling for. So you need to understand, you need to ask yourself, which of these three, am I weakest in? So now the product I'm trying to sell, can people trust it? What do I need to do for people to trust it? Do I need a testimonial? Do I need, a free trial? Do I need to give people an opportunity to test it? Like, you need to know that you need to build competence and confidence in that product, basically. Now, you now ask yourself, can I sell this product? Am I the right person to sell this product? Do I have what it takes to sell this product? Now, I'm going to give you an example. So I think I was having a conversation with the state government at a point, right? And I remember myself trying to sell a particular product. And the only reason why they probably bought the product, was because I have a PhD in computer science. And I'm talking about computer science, I'm talking about computers, I'm talking about technology. They just believe that it has the criteria and the qualification, even if I don't even know what I'm saying. So there is a perception to selling. So you need to know, are you the right person? Now, there are some sales. So there is a sale I wanted to close at some point. I think it was about 450 million naira, real estate sales. Now, I know I have PhD. I know I have all of these things. However, I did not close that sale myself. I invited somebody that I know is a billionaire, right? And I invited this person. I said, come, please, there is this, there's this, what do you call it? Prospect of mine, and this is how much they are looking to invest in this property. I would love you to be on the call because I know that my person does not give that confidence for that to be sold, and the person jumped on the call, and I can tell you, did everything fantastically, and that is only the reason why, the sale moved to the next stage, right? So you need to understand when you are supposed to, step down and when you're supposed to step up, because most of the times you're losing those sales because you probably don't have the pedigree in you, basically. Another thing also is that you can have the right product, you can be the right person, and, just be selling for the wrong company. That's the sincere truth, right? And I'm careful to use an example, but if there's a company that people are blacklisted, probably because of scam, because of stuff, no matter how good you are as a salesperson, no matter how great the product is, you will still not sell because people have blacklisted the company, and people know that the company is not stable, right? So I just wanted to mention that. So as I'm mentioning these things, begin to ask yourself, it's true, why is my sale failing? Which of these things is making my sale to fail, right? Now, you also need to understand that you need to lower the bar until action feels easy. So when you're trying to sell, right, yes, there's the emotions, there's the, there's the gates you've passed through, you've checked your person, your company, the product, but you need to make the product risk-free or look like risk-free. Why do you think people buy properties and they say, does he have C of O? Because people believe that if I buy a property that has C of O, there is little or no risk. But people don't know that government can revoke C of O for no reason. I've had opportunities where I've been part of transactions that had C of O and was revoked by the government. And the government told them to come and pay to collect the CFO back. And this is, Nigeria factor. But in Nigeria, so people believe that I have CFO, if you have CFO, but it is a perception of the fact that there's no risk or the risk is reduced. So you need to also reduce friction. Why do you think when people are selling real estate, they tell you that even though this property is worth 10 million, or is worth 5 million, or is worth 100 million, your initial deposit is 100,000 or is 1 million naira. You can spread it across 10 years or 5 years or 2 years or 3 years. What you're trying to do is to reduce the friction, because they know that, okay, if this property is 1.2 million and you are paying over a period of 1 year, that's 100,000 naira every month. So you can easily afford that. But if you need to pay that 1.2 million naira in 2 days, it might be very difficult. So you see that they reduce. So you need to be able to lower that bar, right? Now, you need to also be able to increase value. Why do you think a lot of real estate companies, right, make more sales maybe during promos, right? Because people just feel like, oh, this is the value of this property and I'm getting it for this price. So they want to key in. And most of the time it's true, right? Or you say that, okay, when you buy this property, you're getting 100 bags of cement, 20 blocks, what are you doing? You are adding value. So people do the math and say, okay, I buy property in this place. No block, no cement, no bag of rice, no Ilea ram. I buy property in this place, the same property, almost the same price. There's a layer ram, there's bag of rice, there's bag of cement, there's, okay, you know what? I'm going to this place. Why? Because there's a perceived value increase. So you need to be able to do all of these things. And now I'm using property because this is a real estate class, but it applies to anything you're selling, right? Now, I know I've told you to write down 2 things, right? This is the third thing I need you to write down. Your state of mind, before you start selling matters a lot. Now, if you are confident, people would smell it. People would know. If you are also not confident and you are timid when you want to sell, people would know. Nobody wants to give their hard-earned money to someone that is not confident about what they are selling. Nobody works hard and gives their money to a salesperson that is not sure of their product. So you need to understand that your state of mind transfers to your sale. So before you go, so like I said, before I started this class, I'm like, I can do this. I've done this several times. I can teach people. They are going to learn, So I am not bothered, right? Even if if you take away the slide, I'm still going to teach, right? Because I know what I am doing. And now I'm going to deviate a little bit. I think if I can remember very well, you need to also come to a place of mastery of your product. I think there are three stages of learning. There is the awareness, there is the understanding, and there's the mastery. Now, awareness is you just know that this exists. Just awareness is like, okay, I think I know how to cook egusi soup. I'm aware. I know that they will put oil, but if they give you egusi soup to cook, you will fumble, right? Now, if you understand how to cook egusi soup, right? If they give you the ingredients, you would likely do well because you understand that, okay, I will put, water first, or I will put egusi first, or I'll put palm oil first. You know how to permutate it, right? But when you are a master, even if the ingredients are not complete, you know how to pull it together. You know how to turn egusi soup. And people will be like, is this same egusi soup we're eating? Because why? You are a master. So you need to be a master of your state of mind. Because when you're a master of your state of mind, and when you talk, even if you just received a no 1 minute before the next call, your state of mind is perfect. You are there. You're like, you know what? Hello, good morning. How can I help you? I want to be. So check my point. So you need your state of mind to be solid before any sales, right? And I gave an example here. Now, before this is the last slide on psychology of sales, right? Please, if you're learning anything, you can put them in the chat. You can also drop them on the WhatsApp group so people know that you're learning, right? You can take screenshots and also put on the WhatsApp group so people know you're learning, right? And also start writing down your testimonials in case you want to give testimonials, right? Oh, I forgot to mention this. For this particular slide, I'm going to show you an example, because I'm going to give you an offer in this class, and I'm going to use this lower the bar until action feels easy for most people in this class, so you don't forget. So that's slide 16. So now you need to understand that there are two pillars that determine everything you do as a salesperson. Pillar number one, your identity. Like I said, if you are a runaway salesperson, it will be hard for you to sell. If you don't want people to know you are a salesperson, it'll be hard for you to sell. Like, it will be very hard for you to sell. So you need to understand that my identity is that I'm a salesperson. And my identity is that I help people make good decisions. Now, you're not a bad person for helping people make good decisions. You're not a bad person for serving people, right? So you need to come into that identity. Let me give an example. If you are wealthy and you don't know you have money in your account, you would live like a poor person, because your identity is different, from your reality. So you just know that you don't know that you have money. But when your identity and your reality is the same thing, you just know I'm wealthy. I can go anywhere. I can order a private jet. I don't have to fly commercial. Like, I have the money, because now you know that you are wealthy. You just don't know, you believe it. You've come to a realization. And that's how you need to, like, I help people make good decisions. And the truth is, everybody is looking for someone to help them make good decisions. So why should you be poor? Why should you not have more than enough? And that's the truth. And I'm talking to you as someone that I've come from less than 30,000 naira salary a month, right? I graduated in 2013 for my BSc, and I did not get my first, I didn't even get, that was my first and only job. I didn't get my first job until 2021. Yes. So you look at the number of years. I was trying to do business, and the business I was trying to do, none of them paid me so well. Some of them paid me 30,000, 50,000. Sometimes some of them did not pay me. So I understand how these things are, but it does not change who you are. That's the truth. It does not change you. So you need to know, write it down. I help people make. So when you go out on the money, you're asking yourself, what good decision am I going to help people make today? And let me tell you, that is what influencers use. So you see an influencer talking about health. What are they trying to do? They're helping you make good decisions. Or you see an influencer talking about fashion. They're helping you make a fashion decisions when it has to do with fashion. And because of that, you are endeared to them, because you feel like you are learning. Now, if in religion, whether you're whatever cleric, they're helping you make good decisions and be closer to what you believe in, right? And because of that, you are endeared to them. That is it. When you start helping people make good decisions as a salesperson, people will look for you, because they know that, I see that guy, if he sells something to you, is going to help you make the best of decisions. It's not just after his money. I know the irony of things is that when you help people make good decisions, you make good money. It's just very straightforward. Good decisions, good money. Bad decisions, bad money. Why? Because you will cast. You will cast. You know what I mean? And I used to tell people that if you have been in sales for 5 years, like all you have been doing all your life for 5 years is that you have been selling. If you are not relaxing, like if you decide to relax after 5 years and money will not keep coming, then you've been doing sales wrongly. Because at year 5, you should have compounded. You now have new people you need to sell to. You have old customers you have sold to. You have referrals that have come from your old customers. That's why you see that when businesses, break the mark of 5 years, most of the times, they just boom. Now, you see, Money Point did not grow because of the marketing they did. OPay did not grow because of the marketing they did. They did the marketing, don't get me wrong. But they grew because they helped people. And people could not stop talking about it. So they had customers, and those people were referring them for free. So it's only saying that I want to transfer money. You're like, you don't have Money Point. You don't have OPay. You know what I mean? And so let it be that people in your circle, they want to buy what you're selling, and somebody says, well, I want to buy this, and I say, you've not heard of Adam. So that is your identity. And I was spending so much time on psychology. We spent almost 40 something minutes on psychology, because if you understand the psychology of selling and all of these things, sales becomes very easy and very smooth. Now, you also need to understand that your second pillar is that you need to be resilient. Like, resilience is a formation of a salesperson. You hear no 1,000 times and you are still going. Even if the no are repetitive, no, 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 you are still going because you know that one yes, a single yes can turn the plenty no's around. So you need to just keep. So you need to understand that rejection is data. It's not it's not a verdict. Once somebody tells you no, a good salesperson takes it and say no, but you want to follow up and say, oh, sorry, I understand you're not buying these products, and I appreciate you for telling me no and not wasting my time. But if you were going to buy this product, what would have made you say yes? And they give you and you collect data. Oh, is the way I spoke. I spoke wrongly, or the way I presented the product. And there's some things that you are selling. It's not you that should sell it. I get to me, oh, it's because of I didn't come with a car, or I came with a car. Or because I'm a guy. You see, there's some products that only women can sell. There's some product that only men can sell. There's some product that both can sell. So you need to understand what is making people say no, right? So the truth is, rejection is data. It is not, a verdict. And when you have that, you are excited. You count it all joy when people start telling you no, because you know that you are moving, you are learning, you are getting data. And what is artificial intelligence today? Artificial intelligence is a lot of data, that is trained and produce intelligence. So the more no that you receive, I can tell you, the more intelligent you become when it comes to selling. Because when you talk like this and you got no, you know that is not how to talk again. You try this one, you try this one. When you try like 100 ways, you now know 100 ways not to sell. And so what am I trying to say is that you need to have these two things as your strong pillar when it comes to sales. Now, we're moving into not just psychology now, we're now moving into, other pillars that you can use. So one of the things that I had to sit down to do was to create a method, right, on selling. Like, okay, if you follow this method, you should be able to close the sale at least 6 to 7 times after 10 times. Now, so first of all, and this builds on all of the things we've been talking about. So the first thing is challenge and connect. So people ask, how do I start a conversation? This is the place where you end the conversation. Now you need to understand that when you are talking to a prospect or you're talking to, a lead, you need to end the conversation. If you don't end the conversation, one thing that happens is that the conversation does not proceed. All of those gates begins to fire up. Now, and the question is, how do I then end the conversation? Like I said, there are a few things you must do to end the conversation. Number one of them is that you need to understand the people you're talking to. You need to understand the person you're talking to. You need to understand that this is what this person needs, and come from that. You need to drop, mind-blowing, how do I put it now? Should I say, okay, you need to start with mind-blowing. So for instance, I'm going to give you an example. The English is not coming to me. Now, you want to sell real estate to somebody. And just to pick up from the examples we had, you don't just go and send flyer and say, you know what, I have this real estate to sell to you. You now need to know, okay, I want to sell to, I'm looking for somebody I can use an example, sorry. I want to sell to Okoro Favor, right? And I have Okoro Favor's contact, because it's close to me. Now, you can stay there and begin to monitor Okoro Favor for the next 4 weeks. Now, monitor doesn't mean you're a monitoring spirit, but you are studying, your understanding. You are checking his status. You are checking his posts. You are seeing what he's doing. Like, oh, Okoro mentioned, he posted that he went to a restaurant. Oh, he posted that his sister got married. Oh, he posted that his brother, just graduated from school. You are getting all of those data, Now, when you are opening your chat or your mouth, talk to Okoro, you're saying something like, oh, hey, Chairman, how you doing now? Congratulations on your sister's, wedding, right? Congratulations on your, thank you so much, Lone Wolf. Congratulations on your brother's graduation. Now what that does is that you've earned the right to start that conversation. you're coming before them, right? And so when you start, they're like, oh, thank you so much. And you can now go ahead and say, oh, I noticed you posted something when you were at a restaurant about, money, real estate, whatever. What are your thoughts? I have something I might want to share with you. What do you think? Should I share it? What happens there is that, you've gotten the leeway. And somebody said profiling. That's the truth. If you go and check most organizations, they spend billions and billions of dollars profiling the ideal customers, right? And knowing what they want, where they work, what they eat, when they are awake, when they see what you see some people running ads. They don't run ads in the morning because their customers are in the night. That's what I mean. So you need to understand the person you are talking to. And that is only when you can end the conversation, because you understand the person. Now, going forward, right? And I think I'm going to probably rush this. People ask, where do I see people to talk to? Now, these are just 12 places you can see who to talk to. Now, the beauty about it is that all of us here have one or two, or not less than two of these places. So ask yourself, have I exhausted my network? If you don't have network, that's a problem. You need to start building it today. You need to start host. Okay, if you don't have the money, if you host a, I won't call it a party, but host a Gary drinking festival, whatever. Something you call your guys, come and drink Gary together, or go and meet them, go and drink Gary if you don't have money. But if you have money, you can host your friends in a restaurant. Just guys, let's just chill. Let's just, and you chill with them, right? Basically, or you go out for events, meet new people. But you can, in all of these 12 places, you can find your customers there. Now, what I was trying to explain earlier, right? So was something is called, tactical empathy. Like you name their experience, before they voice it, right? And how does this work? This particular one works. You are trying to sell to your ideal customer, and you know that your ideal customer, the challenge with them, let's say people that are abroad, right, is that they don't trust people in Nigeria because they feel like everybody's wanting to swindle them. So before they talk, you're letting them understand that, you're presenting, and I'm going to give an example. I understand that, guys abroad are actually scared of, people swindling them, right? Have you had an experience like this before, basically? And what then happens is that it endears them to know, okay, this person kind of understands what I'm running away from. This person kind of understand my problem, right? Basically. And also, like I mentioned earlier, be personal. Like pattern interrupt is what I just told you. Like you profile them, check their status, all of those kind of things, right? And you're able to, follow through with them. Now the next thing is learn and leverage. Somebody asked the question, I think it's part of this, and I want to just answer it now immediately, right? And the person says, what if I have, let's say, 100 contacts and I can't profile this contact at the same time? What do I do? Now, the truth is this. Because sales is serving, you need to be patient. Like you need to also understand a few things too. That, okay, when I'm selling, right, if I make money, what's my cost of acquisition of this sale? What's my revenue from this sale? I think, like I said, I'm going to do a money class on understanding the mathematics behind sale and, what you need to do. So if you profiling 100 customers and 100 contacts, and if one of them sell, one of them buys from you, maybe you're making $1 million from one of them buying, and you just need to do 100 people. And it's going to cost you maybe 2 days of your time. And when you have measured your 2 days is worth probably 250,000. Why won't you spend time doing the 100 people? You get my point? So, technology has made some of these things automated, right? And people are trying to automate it, right? But if you don't have the financial prowess to do that, do it the manual way. Do it, Now, the next stage is learn and leverage. Now, you started the conversation. You are now talking with them. You now you've ended the conversation, you've strike something, this is now the time to shut up. This is the time to shut up. This is not the time to now start giving them plenty stats and shut up. You need to learn and use what you have learned from their conversation, to leverage your own pitch, basically. Now, and I call it, map your world, map their world. So now the more about their world and their problem that the better for you, and the better it is, and easier it is for you to sell. Now, when people tell you about their problems, most of the times it's just surface level, right? And you're asking surface level questions. What do you want to buy? Oh, I want to buy real estate. That is, surface level, basically. That is basically surface level. But when you dig deeper, you're asking questions. You're asking them, okay, why do you want to buy real estate? Is there anything that's holding you back from buying real estate? Now they go back and they tell you, I've seen a property I like, but their payment plan is not favorable, right? They're telling me to pay in 3 months. Now you've held that information. Oh, really? The payment plan is not favorable. Okay. So you're now going deeper. You're saying, okay, so are you saying that if you find a property that their payment plan is favorable, you would buy? Or is there anything apart from their payment plan that is making you not buy? And they're telling you, oh yes, if I find, I'll buy. Or they're telling you, another thing also is, I don't trust blah 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 blah. And you go deeper until they come to a point where you know that, oh, this is the real problem. And they're opening their mouth and they're telling you things like, the truth is, you know what, I don't know if I'm ready for, the documentation issues with real estate. I don't know if I'm ready to protect this property, or I don't know. So when you ask questions, and then I think there's something they call, the 5 whys, right? When you ask why 5 times, well, you cannot just say why. You have to ask them questions, you probe them. But now the beauty about the probing does not look like probing. You have to use what they said to start another question. So they're telling you, oh, they're not buying property because of payment plan. You're saying, oh, so are you saying that you're not buying this property because of payment plan? And they say, yes. Oh, so you are saying that. So when you get them to say that's right, yes, like 5 or 6 times in a conversation, I can tell you there's really no reason why you should not have that sale, right? So let's move on. I think we're taking too much time. So now you need to also understand, and I've just explained it, like you need to mirror, what they've said, how they've said it, basically, and this is an example of that. Now, after you've learned learned from them, and you can leverage those information, you've kept it, you now need to expand it. You now need to let them see the gap, like why them not taking action today or tomorrow is a bad thing, right? Or what it can cost them. And that's why you see a lot of real estate people tell you, oh, this property is going to get to, 50 million tomorrow, and today is 10 million. If you don't buy in the next 5 years, when they were marketing in Bejuleki, they will tell you, or when they were marketing in Ekpe, they will tell you, see Lekki in 5 years. So what are people doing at that point? They are expanding the gap. They're making you feel like if you don't do it now, you're going to miss out. That's basically what you do. Like, you need to review the gap. Now, if you don't review the gap enough, there won't be any sense of urgency. And they would think, I can buy whenever I want to buy, right? But when you review the gap, there's a property that is going on right now, and I see them revealing the gap. The property was 15 million, I think about 3 weeks ago. Somebody still bought 15 million. Now they're selling that property for 30 million. I know the point. They're not just selling it for 30 million. They're telling you that you can get a property for 25 million now, but in the next 3 weeks is going to 40 million. And there is a why. They are building on the site currently. Every single day they are building. So you are also seeing that, it's true. I can get it for 25 million now. So what are they doing? They're expanding the gap, basically. So you need to be able to know how to expand the gap, and that's why you see, and let's not move away from real estate. You see something like toothpaste. They will show you how tooth is getting decay. What are they doing? They're expanding the gap. Like, if you don't use our toothpaste, you understand me? Baba, your teeth is gone. You understand me? So, or if you don't eat our food, the hunger in you is going to finish you. So people expand the gap, but you must now begin to do it consciously. You understand me? Basically, and this is an example of, now when you've expanded the gap, you now need to align and advocate. Basically, you now need to present a path from their gap to their goal. So you don't just, say this is the gap and leave them hanging. So what is now the solution? How do you cover it? And in real estate, some people are very smart. They tell the developer, this your site is going for 30 million. You want to sell it for 20 million, right? I mean, you want to sell it for 25 million, but if I get someone that wants to buy for 24 million, what do you think? And you're now aligning with them, and you're letting them know that, what, I can actually help you get this property for less than 25 million. I can talk to the developer. Maybe he can give you for maybe 24.8 million, right? And you then go as if you are trying to talk to the developer, but you have spoken already. You know, you now come back to them and say, you know what, I've actually helped you that you can actually get this property for 24 million. They're like, what? You know, they're excited. Now, don't forget, you are endearing them referrals. So what am I trying to say is that this is the time you now align and you advocate. Now, this is a formula for, whether your it's going to increase or decrease. Now, what am I talking about aligning? Now, you need to also understand that you are going to be talking about benefits. You're going to talk about why it's you at this point, why you are the person that can solve the problem, why the product you are presenting is the right product for them at this point. Now, because this is the right time to mention it. And I just give an example here. Now, after you've aligned, you now need to validate. Now, it's not enough to say you've done this, you've done that, you've showed them the product, you've gone to meet the developer, you've gotten a reduction in price. There is still something in their head that says, hold on, what if all of this is still a scam? What if I pay this money now and I'm not allocated? What if and I don't get it? This is where you now validate and paint a picture where you're now beginning to show proofs. If there are testimonials of people that have bought earlier, you are showing them that they bought. This is where you talk about, okay, you know what? Pay 100,000, go and see the site, or go and see the site before you pay. You know what I mean? If it's other products, you're saying that there's free trial. That's where free trial comes from. That's where you have this 100% money back guarantee. All of these things. What are you trying to do? Is that you are trying to, reduce the risk. You are trying to social proof it. You're trying to validate what is in their head, what they've believed. Now, at this point, if you truly validate it well, and they just believe that, okay, I've gone through, the conversation, the learning, all of those things, you've gone through all of them, and you have validated it well. At this point in time, you now need to measure. Are they enthusiastic? Like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm ready now. Let's buy. That's when you ask for the close. Or are they saying, you know what? I'm not sure. You build more certainty. Are they reluctant? You need to know, oh, you've missed it somewhere, whether you didn't expand the gap enough, or whatever. Now, this is an example of how that is done. Now, this is the last stage, and this is the crown of all your effort, right? You've been working all through. This is where you now execute and end. This is where you close the deal. A lot of people don't ask for the sale, and that's why they lose the sale. After spending all this time, right, they then don't get to now ask for the sale. So this is the place where you need to be very confident in yourself to know that I have earned the right for this sale. I have done everything possible. I am helping them. So I am not coming here to swindle them, basically. So this is the stage, and this is the stage where you close the deal. It's very simple. You just ask for the sale. That's like, okay. And, in real estate is, okay, do you want me to send you the form? When do you want to make a deposit? And this is the stage where this is the stage where when you're asking for the sale, this is the stage if you are messed up or not most of the times, right? Now, another thing also is that this stage can take a while. So doesn't mean you failed, but you need to know. Now, somebody can be enthusiastic about a sale, they want to close, but they're not closing. And you've asked them the first time, and you say, oh, they didn't listen. No. If you don't ask them at least 5 times, you've not started. Because most sales actually happen probably after the 3rd ask. Most sales. Now, you also need to understand that after the 5th ask, when you are even walking away, don't slam the door. Leave it open so that you can come back. So you've asked somebody 5 times and they're not, giving into the sale. It is very simple. All you need to do is, oh, thank you so much. I know that this might not be the best time for this sale. However, I would let you know, if another product, that would, be beneficial to you comes up. Or you can leave it as a question. Hope you wouldn't mind if a better product or a product that, is beneficial to you, comes up, and I let you know, right? Now, what then happens is that if another product comes up, you can come back to their DM and say, remember I told you I was going to let you know, blah, 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 blah. And you are now in their DM, you're having that conversation because you didn't slam the door, right? And this is an example of that. Now, you need to understand that. So this is the 6 stages. It's called the cleave method when it comes to selling, right? And, something that I create as, you connect, you learn, you expose, you validate, you validate, and you earn, basically. So what am I trying to say in all of this, guys? With this little method and the psychology I've taught you before now, is that if you have followed all of these things, there is really no reason why you should not sell. And these are the 10 key principles that I mentioned earlier, from gatekeeper mind to the heart before the head, to 3 certainties, to decision threshold, to the gap, to the value formula, to the return part, and all of these things. Now, the question people ask is, so why land? And these are beautiful. These are just very simple things you need to know about real estate. First of all, real estate is very tangible, it's appreciable, and it appreciates and is inheritable. Now, there is really no wealthy man in the world that doesn't have real estate. It might be land, it might be house. They all have real estate one way or the other, because that's actually the store of value. It is finite. It's not infinite. Like, they don't produce it anymore, right? So you need to understand that you are actually selling the oldest, safest form of wealth, and there are a number of documents that make selling real estate bulletproof, from the CFO to deed of assignment, to registered survey, to accession, to gazette, to governor's consent. So you must understand, when you are selling a property, what document does it have? What documents can I push? And you know that you're not doing a wrong thing. You're doing a good thing for your customers, right? Now, you also need to understand what are the drivers of real estate appreciation, in what I'm selling. You need to understand that, infrastructure is one of them. So when you're selling real estate, what's the infrastructure here? What are the institutions here? What's the population? What time exactly is this part in? Is it somewhere that is going to be developing soon, or this is not going to develop? So you need to understand all of those things, because those also now help you frame how you sell and how you communicate. You also need to understand the territory of where you're selling. What are the active corridors? What is this territory known for? So when you're selling Ekpe, people that were selling Ekpe, they were selling Dangote refinery. People that were selling Ikeja, when they were selling Ikeja, they were selling airport. People that were selling Ibeju were selling Ibeju, the new airports, and all those kind of things. So you need to know, what is this place known for? You need to also understand what stage of the curve is this place in. Is this an early rise? Like, people are just coming into this place. If you invest here right now, you can make 5x, 2x, 4x, 10x of your money. Or, if you come to this place, all you can do is double your money. Or if you come to this place, you can only just make a profit, right? So you need to understand, what your territory that you're selling looks like. Now, you also need to understand what the transaction cycle of every sales, look like. What are the steps, from payments to receipt to allocation letter to physical allocation to survey to deed, to governor's consent. You need to understand all of those steps. Which of these steps are you handling? Which of these steps is the company handling? Which of these steps is the customer handling? Or which of these steps, is the customer handling? You need to also understand what are the realistic timelines for each of these steps, because you don't want to be a thief or a GPT salesperson. I don't know. I'm trying to look for or a swindler. Yeah, thank you. So, you should also understand what can go wrong, because things can actually go wrong. So you need to understand those things and be able to mitigate against them. Now, you also need to understand what's the money mat of being a salesperson or a partner, right? You need to understand the funnel. You need to know your income model. So basically, for my own funnel is I'm going to do an outreach, to people. I'm going to start a conversation, I'm going to qualify them. You need to understand all of those things, because the truth is, you don't make money by mistake. You make money with or by deliberate actions. That's basically it. Now, you also need to understand, what's the income model? So if I want to make 10 million this year in real estate, selling real estate, how much do I need to sell? What is the commission going to look like, right? You also need to understand, if I want to make 10 million, how many people do I need to talk to on a daily basis, or on a weekly basis, or on a monthly basis? How many leads do I need to have in my pipeline all the time? You need to understand all of these things. And when you do, it becomes a lot easier. Now, right, one of the reasons why we're doing some of these classes is because we know, we need to do so number of classes, per year for us to do so number. I just gave you an example. Somebody was in this class about 4 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and sold for WyseFlex. We made money, they made money. Why? They came from this class. Do you get my point? So even though I'm giving value and I'm communicating value, I know that my money mat, and I'm saying all of these things because you want to come and learn. So my money mat tells me I need to talk to not less than 50,000 people that wants to become partner in a year. Because when I talk to 50,000 people that want to become partners in a year, and I help them learn, 30,000 of them will learn and use that knowledge for something else, and they don't have to, talk to me. 10,000 of them will not be serious, they will leave. 5,000 of them would learn and just be part of what we're doing, but will not be serious. Another 5,000 will try to be serious. 100 of them will be very serious. 50 of them will sell. When 50 of them sell, this is how much I can make times 50. Oh, it's worth my time. And I go ahead, I do the class. If it's 5 people in the class, I go ahead. If I teach people like it's 5 people. If there are 5 people in the class, I teach them. If there are 500, I teach them. If there are 200, I teach them. Why? Because there is a money mat I have done. As a partner, as someone that wants to sell real estate, you need to have that money mat. So basically, that's just it. So you also need to understand, pricing psychology, as a real estate person or someone that's trying to sell real estate, off plan, allocation, all of this. What are the when you see a product, you let them, that they are lying to you when they tell you this product will double in 1 year, that that's a lie. So you need to understand, the pricing psychology and the real ROI, because that is only when you can be a great real estate person when it comes to sales, and help you. You also need to understand what are the legal exposures, right, and the ethical flaws. What are the things you cannot claim? What are the things that you can claim? Or what are the claims you can make? What are the claims you cannot make? What are the phrases you can say and cannot say, right? How do you defer, claims that you cannot make? Because the truth is, you cannot go and tell someone that wants to buy a property of 50 million and say this property have C of O, and they buy because you said they have C of O, only for them to find out that you only have deed of assignment. You've made a wrong claim. They can carry you. So you need to understand all of the legal exposure you put yourself in and the ethical flaw, right? Now, you also need to read the buyer's reality, right? Now, you are selling real estate of 50 million. The person has not even eaten. Are you joking? How do you want to sell? Like, you need to understand. You need to also know, oh, this person, what will fit this person is a real estate of 1 million. Sell 1 million to the person. There are some people today, I cannot tell them, if they ask me if I have any real estate available, I cannot give them a real estate product that is less than 15, 20 million, because they will not buy. If it's 1 million, they just feel like it doesn't make sense, right? Some people now, I cannot tell them any real estate product that's more than 2 million. So you need to understand where your buyer's financial reality is. Some people, even if the product is 1 million, you cannot tell them it's 1 million. You need to let them know that it is paid over a period of 1 year, even though it's 1 million. So immediately you're telling them it's 80-something thousand. That works for them, right? So you also need to understand all of these things. Now, like I mentioned earlier, you need to be able to play the long game. As a salesperson, your sale is not just the finish line. Referrals are more important. How do you get the next sale? Like, I use this as an example. One of the people that we played their video that was giving testimonial, he sold a single plot to somebody. That person was able to get their plot allocated, fence their plot of land, and then introduce 6 other people to that salesperson, right? And that salesperson only close 1 person, but now he has gotten commission on 7 people or over 7 or 8 plots from insurance. So you need to also understand all of that, right? And play the long game and not try to swindle people. Now, you need to also understand the real estate vocabulary, documents, the land status, basically what developmental levy is all about, documentation levy, perfection fees, and all of those things. You need to understand them. Now, question is, so what do we have? Now, you need to understand that when you win, and I give an example, when you win is only when we win, right? We don't win if you don't win. And that is what we do here at WyseFlex. So what exactly is WyseFlex? Right. So now, part of the things we have for people that are partners with WyseFlex is that you get, a referral boost, you get access to training like this, you get welcome bonus. Now, we also have several rewards that we give people, right? From ampers to air fryers to microwave, to smart TV, to washing machine, to trip abroad, to chest freezers, and also to a car. But this now depends on how much you've sold in a year. Now, we also have referral and rewards we give to people that actually recruit people to be part of their downline. The beauty about this is that if you invited someone, so one of the people that earned money, I think earned about 150,000 naira, right? Last week, the person did not sell. The person invited somebody in cohort 1 to join the class. That person sold, and she got 150,000 or about 150,000 from the person's sale, basically. And I'm getting to find out now that she also have another person that has sold that she's going to get commission from. She has not sold. So apart from that reward, as you recruiting people under your downline, you are recruiting them. We're going to make money if they sell, but you're also going to make money if they sell. So that's your selfish interest. But apart from that, we also have rewards we give to people that recruit, premier partners, and we have, pressing iron, gas cooker, all of these things. Now we also have a raffle draw. I am looking forward to that raffle draw at the end of the year, right? We're going to be giving 100 bags of rice to one partner. A single partner is going to walk away with 100 bags of rice. A single partner is going to earn a trip abroad, and a single partner is going to win a plot of land. So 3 different people that are going to win 3 different things outside whatever commission they've earned, right? And as of last week, I know I shared in the class we had last week, we bought 20 bags already. We've paid for 20 bags. In this month, we're going to pay for another 20 bags, right? I can't wait to capture, that on a picture that we're giving somebody, 100 bags of rice, basically. Now, also for customers, they're also going to enter a raffle. We have 100 bags of cement and a plot of land. Now, one of the things also is that in WyseFlex, we tell people, help people create wealth, and you would also be wealthy. So our goal is to help people create wealth, because when we help people create wealth, that's only when we can also create wealth for ourselves. And these are 7 different ways people can earn. Now, the question now is, okay, so how do I be part of WyseFlex? So yes, you can be part of WyseFlex. There are 3 different ways to be part of WyseFlex, and you can choose whatever way you want. And now, don't forget, I said that I was going to show you guys this slide 16. Now, I'm about to tell you something, but I'm about to reduce the bar until it feels very easy, right? And so let's go back to slide 64. Now, for WyseFlex membership, we have 3 tiers. There is the free tier, which is you're a partner. There is the premier partner, which is a paid tier. Why there's a 3rd tier, which is the ally partner, which is earned. You cannot pay your way into that. Now, for the free tier, you get base commission. On some properties, the base commission is 10%, right? You have access to all our properties. You get trainings like this. But if you decide to join the premier, become a premier partner before you make a sale, way ahead before you make a sale, your commission increases by 50%. So if the base commission is 10%, you get 15% as commission. Now you get access to the partners dinner. That is only when you can earn an upline commission. So if you are a free partner and someone under you sells, you don't get a commission for that, right? Now, let me now show you one of them, that reducing the risk. Now, if you have joined being a premier partner way ahead of when you sold, whenever you sell with us, after your first sale, we'll return the 20,000 naira you paid to become a premier partner. I wouldn't just return it to you. We're going to give you a 35% interest on that 20,000 naira. So basically, you literally did not pay anything to become a premier partner. You only even earned from us to become a premier partner, basically. But what the psychology does is that we're seeing people that become premier partner sells faster and sells better because they feel like something has left them, and they need to make their money back, basically. So now, why for the ally partner, you earn 65% more commission, than the free partner, but you cannot pay into that. You have to have sold social number of amounts. You need to have social number of downlines before you can get there, and you have all of our, benefits. Now, the truth is, you don't have to be ready to sell a house. You just have to be committed to showing up. Like, the truth is, you don't have to know how to tell all these things. You just need to say, you know what, I want to push it. Now, you don't also have to become a premier partner today. However, these are the benefits if you become a premier partner, right? But you can become a normal partner. Now, I know that every single person that I've sold, last week, most of them have not sent in their forms, even though they've sent in the money. Why? Because they want to now pay to become a premier partner so they can earn 50% more commission, right? And that's how it is. Now, what are the WyseFlex products? The products are going to be shared on the partners group for those that want to become a partner, right? And flagship product is the product we have in E4, 500 square meter. This price is and this price ended. Actually, I should change this slide. This was for our April Fool promo. It is now 2 million naira for this, basically. And I'll just give an example. At this price, this is how much you earn. 990,000 is what you earn as a free partner. what you earn as a premier partner is 1.4 million. And we also were doing a promo. We don't know if we're going to continue or not. But if you became a premier partner and you sold, instead of getting 15%, you're going to get 17.5%. So you'll be earning 1.7 million. So why do you want to see how we have reduced the risk, right? Why won't you want to become a premier partner if you know you're going to sell, right? So and I just gave that example so you understand, okay, I need to reduce the risk. Now, this is the time where I know that some of you might have received messages or emails from us, right? Now, I think that tonight is the night where you send your first message if you've never sold real estate or you want to sell. I know that on the group on the WhatsApp group, you're going to see, we're going to, you can request for, the real estate we have, but this is the night where those 3 people I told you to write out that are going to buy real estate from you. This is the night where you message them, and you can use this script to message them. Their name, what you're thinking about, what the signal you saw, basically, and you can, let them know so you can use the script. I know anybody that needs the script can be shared with them on the WhatsApp group. So I think that this is the time where you open your WhatsApp, for those that can do it now, and do it and send the message. Now, one of the things I need to understand is that some of you were afraid when you wanted to come to this class. How do I sell? But right now, you don't just, and you are just no more afraid, but you now have a system you can actually follow. So I want to encourage you, go out there and make the sale now. So one of the things I'm going to solicit, if you've learned anything in this class, please send us a testimonial, do a short video, saying what you've learned, and why any other person should, come for a class like this. Once again, thank you so much. For those that are interested in becoming a WyseFlex partner, there's going to be a WhatsApp group that's going to put that's going to drop on the WhatsApp group you are on now. So it's only if you are still on the call, drop the WhatsApp group for people that are not yet on the WhatsApp group, so they can be able to have access to the WhatsApp group. And that's where we're going to drop the group for those that want to become a partner, and also for those that want to become a premier partner. You can reach out to any of the admin on the group, basically, or they're going to drop, and you can do that. Once again, thank you so much. I don't know if I can take maybe 2 or 3 questions, if anybody have questions, but I've come to realize that most people don't have questions. But if you have questions, you can just drop it in the chat, and I'm going to be looking at the chat for like 2-3 minutes. But it was a nice time with you guys. I enjoyed. Thank you so much. A number of us stayed from the beginning to the end. I don't take that for granted. That is not easy. Well done. Thank you so much. Olamilekon, thank you. I can see one question. What if I don't have a connection? Well, I think you probably want to talk to us, but I don't think that's possible for anybody. The fact that you have WhatsApp, people are checking your status. You don't, funny enough, you don't have to be invasive when you're selling. You can just put the flyer on your status, and you'll be shocked the number of people that might reach out to you, right? The fact that if you're going to a mosque or a church, the fact that if you have gone to any school, whether it's vocational school, primary school, secondary school, you have you have alumni, basically. You somehow, you just don't know how to unhead your connection. You have connection, basically. So some people will say, okay, yes, you're saying I have connection, but I don't have the confidence to talk. Now, I know we have dealt with that extensively in this class. And the truth is, I was like you before, but I come to realize that if I have to eat, I have to sell. That's the truth. That is the truth. So we can always walk you through. There are classes we have midweek, for people that want to learn some of these things. Why not? And you'll be so shocked that when you open your mouth, you'll be so shocked. So what would you advise? What would be your advice to someone who doesn't have any previous sales experience? I mean, for something which is a million citizen. Also, shouldn't there be a level of knowledge one should be able to have about what the person wants to sell before being able to sell? Yes, there is, right? So you need to actually have knowledge about what you're trying to sell before and like I said, we have midweek classes that help people understand what the product is all about. And you're not saying what's my advice. If you don't have any previous sales experience, I think that you are even the best person. You are the right person to be selling, because there's nothing clogging your brain. You are learning things afresh, and you're learning the right thing, right? So you are the best person to be selling. If you had previous sales experience and you've had no, you probably have problems. So I know that there are weekly classes, like midweek classes that we have. The classes are not always very large, maybe 10, 15 5-20 people where people come and ask their questions. We take you through the product, take you through what you need to know about sales, or confidence, or on how to make money from real estate. So I want to believe that K001 is the last question. So I'll just probably wait for like 1 more minute, as I don't want to. So when are the weekly classes? They alternate, right? They can be on Tuesdays, they can be on Wednesdays, they can be on Fridays. We don't have specific dates. Basically, we're trying to create structure around that. But one of the things we have seen is that people are, so we're almost going to be teaching the same thing across 2 weeks. So even if you miss this time, when you join this one, you will probably get the same thing. And one of the things also is we do is that we have recorded videos that you can go back and watch, right? Basically, yeah. So that also have helped people a lot. So okay. So once again, thank you so much. I'm just going to mention our names. So that, thank you so much, Abraham. Thank you so much, Adam. Thank you so much, Adeyemi. Thank you so much, Aqua Gloria. Thank you so much, Alessandra. Thank you so much, Amarachi. Thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you so much, Emeka. Thank you so much, Ahmed, Ifeoluwa, Jenny Alex, Lone Wolf. Thank you so much. Baba Ahmed, thank you. I think this is Esther, thank you. Okoro Favor, thank you. Olamileka, thank you. Omomayowa, thank you. Ayomide, thank you. Osa, you promise, thank you. And Abat Daniel, Wisdom Oluwafemi, and Sam Toby, thank you so much for this class. Have a wonderful day, and see you at the top.